All right. Hi, everyone. Back at it. Sorry, you'll have to click a button. It's all good. Let's move into it, and we will get this done. This whole class will be just here, okay? I think won't be much of a lecture per se. It's going to be just working in Illustrator all, the coming hours anyway. Few things I wanted to call out here all is this is awesome. If you want to commit some of this to memory, I will be going over the tools again that I use on the daily. And apparently I say daily often. The other class laughed at me. Not only that, but there's a daily in the other class. So I don't know. I say daily a lot, but I do use this on the daily. So you're going to find that the ones that I'm going to point out to you in general terms. And if we just have a quick look at this, everyone, right? Awesome. Again, do we need to commit all of this to memory? No, not at all. Are there ones that I would love you to try to commit to memory? Absolutely. There's some really fundamental ones that I think are awesome. I should have gave you one on Photoshop as well. You can look that up, short keys for Photoshop. I do apologize. But awesome, right? We never need the Z key because we know that spacebar command. We have a white arrow, which is the A key. Super good. P is the pen key or the pen tool, right? We'll be using P over and over again. We have our L and our M, which we're going to use today quite a bit. Okay, L for ellipse and M for rectangle. Rectangle. I don't know. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. Hand, no, we know that space bar, right? Some of these we won't need because we know hand is space bar, zoom spacebar command or spacebar command, right? What else do I use? Aside, oh, I use I quite a bit, right? Eyedropper. So I, P, L, M, N, O, N, M, N, O, P, O is good. Or sorry, A. Anyway, so this is handy, right? Oh, T. We use the T quite a bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would say those are the 7 keys that I will use, yeah, whenever I'm in Illustrator. Most of the time, okay? Check this out. Look at all these short keys. We know that these short keys exist because if you go up to any of your menu items, you'll find that these short keys are there for you, right? And we've kind of looked at that both in Photoshop and maybe I noted it and pointed it out. If you found that if there's anything on here that you wanted to do or you've been doing over and over again that you're like, dude, wouldn't it be nice to have a short key for that? It should be here, okay? We're going to use many of, well, I say many. There's a lot of freaking short keys, aren't there? And so, yeah, do your best, commit some to memory. As mentioned, like there you go, a little promo for infographic. I probably could have cut that out of there, but you got to give cred, right? All right, cool. So that's that. All right, we'll go through these as mentioned. Hey, the all powerful, almighty Pathfinder. We're going to look at this together. Okay. One tool I'm going to show you that you may want to utilize in lieu of the Pathfinder is the Shape Builder tool. If you haven't used the Shape Builder tool, well, many of us maybe haven't used the Pathfinder tool. We're going to use both today, and I'm going to show you the difference between Shape Builder and Pathfinder. The Shape Builder can make your life easier at times because, right, Pathfinder, you click a button and you kind of get what you get. Shape Builder is kind of I call it the Pathfinder on steroids. It gives us the ability to have a little bit more control when we're knocking elements out of an object or, yeah, creating, we'll get there, okay? But this is kind of a neat little, heads up on what this stuff does. You'll see this is like circa, 1995, but you know what? It hasn't changed. The same functionality holds true, and this actually isn't too bad. All right, so keep that, right? Unite, minus front, intersect, and it's really neat how it kind of shows you when you bring it together how these things look and then how once you click these buttons how they interact with one another. A lot better to just do it, right? So we will be utilizing the ones that I use. Some of them you probably will never use. I'm trying to think of one. Outline I never use, right? What else do I never use? Intersect, not so much. Minus front, I use all the time. Unite, use all the time. Exclude, not so much. Divide all the time. Trim is really great. Merge, okay, you'll notice looks almost identical, right? Crop, and then these guys here. So that's bang, 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 bang going across, okay? And as mentioned, we'll get in there today and work with it. Please download this one if you could. I'm just hitting the next button if you're following along at home. And if you're not following along at home, don't worry about it. Go to week 8 if you could, please, and download this Illustrator 2. Aw, Sad Robot, download me, please. Cool, we're gonna download Sad Robot, zip. Let's start there, everyone, if you can. I'm hoping to get through this exercise, no issues. We have 3 solid hours. I'm hoping not to do an epic 4.5 hours as per last week, and I do apologize. I'm hoping we learned something and I didn't just hurt everyone's brain with that basic shapes and everyone's like, why are you doing this to me? I spent hours on this thing. I know, but I'm hoping the more we do it, it'll be good. It'll be good. I promise you. We got to get in there and use it over and over and over again. I mentioned this till last class. In December, if you don't have a client and you don't know what to do with your time, right? Or you don't know, my big thing is after I graduated college, I didn't have a job. So my biggest fear when I graduated was, how am I going to keep my skills up? I don't want to just sit at home and do freaking logos for fun. Like, that's fun. It is. It's good. But like, not many people, or okay, for example, well, I guess InDesign is one of those you almost need a client for because it's difficult to kind of just, right? I say that though, poster design. What I'm getting at is get an Etsy shop, get some kind of little store. There's so many of them that are out there right now. I was on Cafe Press and Zazzle. They were 2 American-based companies. And then I'd spent 300, 400 hours on doing logos and designs for t-shirts, mugs. And these are like turnkey, turnkey companies, right? Meaning you're the artist, you design your art in Illustrator, put up your logo, and it automatically applies it to all of this product. And then that company sells your product for a markup, but you get your percentage at the end of the month, right? So please, if you're looking at just what the heck am I going to do with myself, start up a free store. Do designs for logos, right? Look, Mohawk, not Mohawk, that's copyright, but right? Do fun logos. Awesome. Good stuff, right? Anyway, segue. I just want to say when December hits and you're kind of like, what the hell am I going to do with myself now? Go in, right? Create some cool designers, like design wear for Nana because she wants her knitting club all decked out, right? Knitting club's like, yeah, look at us cruising the streets. They're like, yeah, check out my swag. Nana's knits. You're like, yeah, right. So moving on. Segue. What was I talking about? I forget now. Oh, I wanted to apologize about the basic shapes, but not really. Okay, we're going to be utilizing pretty much everything that we did in the basic shapes. We're going to now bring over and utilize for this one. Okay, so start here if you could, please, and let's rock and roll. As mentioned, we have like 3 hours to complete this. Should be good, should be golden, but I talk a lot, so I apologize. It's just how it works. I'm just, yeah. Week 8, amazing. I'm going to create a new folder. You guys can do the same. You may have an assignments or major projects folder. I'm going to go into the weekly, and I'm going to call this out as Sad Robot Redraw, right? Now, keep in mind all I mentioned before, this is very much about client specific, and I promise you, it's one of the things you may do right away when you get a client. The next question you're going to ask Sally is, Sally, where is your vector art? Because you clearly had this for some, like, right? And Sally's going to go, well, you know, I kind of lost it, or I really don't know. I got this from online. And you're like, oh, shit. Okay, well, Sally, you can't just grab something online and use it for your logo. Well, really? Oh, I didn't know. And you're like, well, yeah, okay, well, good thing you're paying me because, you know, we got to run into some serious issues here. So always good to ask your client where they get their stuff from, especially if it's a company that's in, say, you know, fairly established and not only do we want to make sure that we're within rights, copyrighted, and just kind of not blankly drawing something, you know, of course we're gentle about it. You always ask for the vector art first if you're doing a business card for someone. And if they're like, I really don't have it. Now, people may have good reason for it. Typical reason would be, me and my designer just didn't, you know, we didn't end on the right foot. So that could be an indication that you might want to be wary about it, because clearly this person either, there's a few things that could have happened, obviously, could have taken advantage of the artist. The artist was smart enough to not give them their vector art. And so now they're getting you to redraw it because they haven't paid for that artwork yet. Yes? I'm not saying be negative and always think the worst about people. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is let's make sure that we're educated as to why do you not have the proper file that you need for this? You're a company that's been around for years. You should have a vector version of your logo. That's kind of a 101. So if they do not have it, just, it's worth a question. Just, yeah. Do I think you should go back and try to investigate who did the logo? Like, I don't have to ask too many questions. If you're happy with the answers, just get 50% of your money down. Just saying. No, I don't know. Okay. You can trust Crazy Uncle Joe, although he doesn't pay his electric bill, so you might not want to work with Joe. he's lurking in the dark. So, create new, everybody. We're an illustrator here, yes? Check it out. I actually have open in legacy version here, actually, and I kind of love it because it reminds me of my old days of being an illustrator. So I'm going to turn that off right now so we all have the same menu. And that was right here, and see if it will open up for me. And it doesn't seem to open up for me in that way. That's okay. There it is, sorry. Okay, so we should all have something like that. I know we had someone in the last class had issue just getting into creating a new document. I can't remember if it was this class or last class. That being said, I'm hoping this will open up for us, right? We've got this, yeah? We know save, mobile, print, all these defaults are up here. We went over this last week, so let's just get into it. What I need to do though, we're gonna do this again next week. I'd like everyone to name their file, of course. Now, have a look, we did this together as well. Let's go in and see what the name of the file is. We may as well, right? It's already done for us.
Hey, Mitch.
Yes.
Sorry, do you have captions turned on for this? I can't figure out how to turn on, like I can't turn on captions, but isn't there a way to turn them on in Zoom?
Not in Zoom, no. That is a square. Nice. Bleed, sure. Let's put a bleed on it. Why the heck not? It's always good to have, okay? Advanced options, just remember, CMYK color always, okay? And then we have our 300 for raster, okay? And so on and so forth. But this looks good, okay? Let's go in and start there. Your name, 5x5 inches, not pixels or centimeters, okay? Chat's a big one to change because I'm hoping since we did this last week or you've been working through that it has hopefully kind of retained its setting of some kind. And there we go. We've got our bleed on it, right? Nice. Space bar, move around. Let's get started there. Yay, all right, we're back in it to win it. Okay. Now, do this with me, workspace, and let's reset cab class 2020. Yes, let's get all on the same page, literally. Good. Mine didn't make much of a change. Yours may have, depending on if you move some panels around last class where we took the layers or maybe shit, you know, right? We were playing around. This is good. This is good. We're happy. Now, few things. We downloaded this file, and a few things within this file you'll notice. One, of course, is the image. And if we open it up, we can go, aw, look at, oh, he's so cute. Not, aw, right? Look at that. This is what happens when elections are going on. So we got that. Do this, and we've got a zip file here. Now, I did zip a zip. It's kind of overdone, I know, but I'd already zipped it anyway. Now, I zipped this one. Typically, I zip font files because using networks, if you just open or send an OTF or a .ttf or, you know, open type font or true type font, right? If we just send those files directly through a network, I find that they get corrupt very, very easily. So I like to zip. If there's a word to the wise out there all, please don't zip your like PNG files you're uploading to Canvas. But what I would say is if you're sending just text files to people, make sure that you do zip them, okay? Just word to the wise, because that way it just saves you from, your client or, someone you're working with is going to come back to you and say, dude, your font is messed up. So I'm going to do this with you, everyone. If you could do this, sad robot folder. I guess you can keep your sad robot zip file there just in case something gets messed up. We can go here though. I'm going to delete, command and hit delete on the zip file. Get rid of it. Okay. This isn't mandatory, but I'm walking through it. Next step, we have untitled JPEG. Let's get organized. And you know what? We may as well get that named. So we're going to call this, let's call this sad robot, right? Underscore maybe. Underscore to draw. Awesome. Or from client or whatever you may have. Okay. Now within this sad robot logo, remember there's a few folders I'd like you to get set up. One is going to be client supplied. Good. What I would do here all is I'm going to, so went into this folder. We're in column view, remember, it makes our lives really easy. Column view, right? Weekly content, week 8, sad robot redraw, sad robot logo. Probably could have brought all of this forward because this is kind of redundant that we have this folder here, isn't it? And you know what? We can do that at any time. Maybe we'll do it once we get it all set up. Let's go here, new folder. And I'm going to call this out client supplied. We're going to have working. And then I'd like you to create a new folder. And this is going to be to client. Or you can call it out as finals, I guess. Okay. So we have working to client and client supplied. So of course, right, we've got our files that are sent to us, the ones that we send to them, and the ones that we're working on throughout the process to make sure that we have multiple copies and we don't save over the original and so on and so forth. Cool? Good. We've got 3 folders. We're going to click on the JPEG, hold down Shift, and I want you to grab on that font for now. Now let's just get that organized, and I'm going to put that just up 1 level into client supplied folder. Good, right? There we go. We've got our font and we've got our new naming to draw, right? Good, good, good. And then we've got to client and working. Now try this with me. See if we can't go in and move all 3 of these folders over here. You ready? So this is just your navigation and using folders 101, right? I'm going to grab this, all 3 of them, click, shift, click, click. Good. Or yeah, I think you can marquee. Can you marquee? Yep, you can even marquee select. Just be careful with that because you might drag and drop folders into other folders. And we're going to grab him, move him, let go. Nice. Okay. Now, again, I have that zip file. You may want to throw that zip file into client supplied. Get that in there as its own. And then we have sad robot logo, which was the name of that original folder, which we don't need. That's confusing. So what I'm going to do is just select on this folder, command and delete. There we go. We're getting organized and cleaned up, right? All right, all right. We're happy. Okay. And notice this isn't caps. Mitch, what are you doing? You're going to do it caps. Do it caps. Good. All right. Consistency is key. We'll go here. Now double click and let's open up our zip file or this OTF file. We know that we can click on an OTF, right? Or font file. And we've maybe done this in type class. We did it week 3, I think, where we were loading in fonts, etc. I'm just going to load this into my general base fonts, right? I don't need to separate this out using my font book, but I'm just happy with this. You'll notice it comes up as designer block. Interestingly enough, sometimes it gives you a weird acronym or something of this nature. Again, downloaded font from, DAF font or whatever it may be. So just be user beware, right? Just understand that, I'm using this for personal use. So I'm happy. We want to just make sure that that is in fact good to go. Okay, and that was designer block, right? And so you should have a DE, right? And that should just load into your fonts accordingly. Okay, so designer block is right here. Yay. Okay, we're good. Awesome. Now you'll notice I have one loaded it in, and it's interesting as I loaded in that second one, what happened was it actually defaulted to being off. Okay, I can actually go in and just remove duplicate. Okay, I don't need 2 of them. Okay, just be clean about it. Okay, I said remove. I want to just totally remove, right? And just remove, right? All right. So loaded in a font. Woohoo, that's easy. We're going to use this for this. Luckily, our client, another tip, word to the wise, logo redraws. Do this. I used to do this where I used to work, and I'd have people before I'd hire them do a test, something similar to this. I'd give you 2 hours and you'd have to complete this test. I would then look at your layers. I'd look to see how well you completed it, the accuracy of your lines, all that fun stuff, right? Now, one thing that can trip you up, if you're doing a drawing test all, you may have someone who's a little sadistic and may not let you know what this font is, okay? I can't tell you enough how I've seen people come in for an interview. I don't tell them what the font is, and it's one that I totally messed up and created custom. So they're not going to be able to find the font because it's custom. They will spend literally half of their drawing test trying to sit through their font book to find the font. And there's a lot of work to be done. The test, you know, so if there's a word to the wise here for all of us, if your client doesn't know what the font is, you don't have the ability to find it online anywhere. You've asked all your font friends and they're like, dude, that's a new one. I've never seen that. That may be this may be where you want to start with. It may be Aardvark, but it's clearly Aardvark, but somebody's done some wacky shit to it. So if you can find the base font, okay, good. That'll get you started. But what I'm getting at is don't sit there and 2 hours of work wasted because you've been sitting there looking at your font book trying to figure out what font that is. And it happens, and you know, especially in a production setting, if I walk by someone's computer and they've been looking at fonts for an hour, as the manager, is going to drive me crazy because I'm going to be like, what have you done? And they're going to say, well, I've been looking for a font. And I'm going to be like, Sally, bless your heart, I love you, but get the work done. Just draw the font. Get it drawn. We can draw font, right? And the time that you took to look up this font, you could have had this drawn 3 times over. And she's like, oh, yeah. And you're like, you know, I love you, Sally. Just word to the wise, all. Okay? So we're going to go in. And what I need to do is let's do this. We have our document here, and we have our logo to redraw. Yeah? It's interesting also at my old job, the logo redraw was one of the funnest parts of the job. So if you're like, logo redraw, that's boring. All right, well, I promise you, it may be in the case of where, you know, the 3 stripes was like the most exciting part of their day. So it's all in relation to what you do in your day, I guess. Here we go. You ready? Long story short, few ways we can bring an image in. Yeah. We can drag and drop it into Illustrator like so. Cool. Try that. And that just means you have to have your Illustrator open, right? Have your file open here. Sad robot. So have it kind of floating, right? And then have your Illustrator here to the left. You can grab your JPEG, click and drag it in. You can do that. Cool, eh? Now, if you want to try this, you can place your files. So right there is place. However you get there. How do I typically do it? I typically grab it, throw it in. Okay, is how I typically do it. But you can place. I want to show you that there are multiple options to getting an object into, of course. So we're going to go into CAB class, and I'm going to go into my weekly content. Notice this is a little bit more cumbersome because now I've got to navigate through my folders. Sad robot redraw, client supplied, and there it is. Cool, eh? And then we can go ahead and place. Check that out. Defaulted to template. Are you kidding me? That's new. Okay, cool. So place, click. Sorry, back up a step. Command Shift P. Try that with me. Or file place again. And I'm going to hit place. Sorry, I moved to undo. Command Z there for a second. Just get back. I really dislike that Illustrator doesn't allow you, when we get into InDesign, when you do a Command Z, what you're going to find is when you've done a place, it will just take you back to this placement option, which is really nice. I don't know why Illustrator doesn't do that. You click right now, that should place it, right? Nice and easy. So I can delete that, try it this way again. Click, drag. Plus, little plus, right? Drag. Nice. Another way to do this, of course, you can grab the image, drag and drop it onto the icon. Works similar to Photoshop in this regard, because what it will do is it will open up a new document called sad robot redraw JPEG. Then you copy and paste it over. Oh my goodness, right? Don't do that. We've already got our file set up. Cool? So however you want to place a file or place an image. As mentioned, we need to draw from this. So let's do first step. The alignment function, woohoo! Window, align, if you want to open this up. Or you should have a line down here, or you should have a line here, or you should have a line here. Holy heckin' Hannah, that's a lot of lines, yeah? Awesome. So we've got a lot of options available to us. Remember, if you don't have options at the top here, window control, turn them on, okay? Make sure that's on, because it's nice to have the ability to see all this stuff. You're gonna miss much of this detail. Right here is really important. We looked at this in our weekly, if you've seen the video and if you checked it out. Oh shit, we haven't got there yet. That's tomorrow. I'm so confused. I'm like, we went over this yesterday, didn't we? Well, yeah, I did, but we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, I'm good, breathe. So here, really important, everyone. To your alignment up there to the top, you can also, again, if you want to open up your align, let's click on the alignment down here and bring it forward so we can have a look at our alignment function. This is really important functionality. I love my align, right? Now, remember, this is an image, so what it's going to do is it's going to align it from the JPEG boundary box, right? So it's not, in essence, finding the center of the object, it's finding the center of the picture. That's okay for now, and it'll do donkey. So what I need to do is let's go in, let's hit the V key for a second. You'll notice hitting the V key will get you to the black arrow. I want you to click on sad robot. We also know that command will always take us to our black arrow as well, right? Command, command, command. So anyway, V key also takes us there. What we're gonna do is select on the robot, okay? I want you to go here and I want you to change or have a look at this. Align to selection, align to artboard, really important because they do very different things, don't they? Now, align to selection would be this. When we grab multiple items, align to, notice it defaults now to selection. And then I can just center. And then I can just center, or align distribute, sorry. And then I can center. There we go, neat, eh? Now, if I were to do this, align to artboard, let's try that now. Hey, cool. So what it will now do is take all those items and center it to your artboard. One is object selection. We have object, key object, which is really neat as well. Don't need to get into that. Let's just move on so we can get this drawn up. There's so many different options and fun stuff. I'm gonna go in and delete those. Maybe you did some rectangles and did that with me. If you're like, dude, no, I just get this centered, please. Okay, so align to artboard. What I like you to do is center, 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 center with align to artboard on, okay? It should be defaulted because there's no selections, right? You're not selecting multiple items. Cool, last week we did a few things. Went in and we created a template file, didn't we? So we could draw on it. Amazing. What I'm going to do here is let's go in and I'm going to double click on layer 1. Okay. Now, before I do this, actually take a step back. I gave you above here, you should, and if you don't have links, I'd like you to go into your links panel right here. If you don't have it, window links, open that up now for me, please. Links are right here. Let's have a look. This one is not linked or embedded into your file, okay? Extremely important to note. That being said, it will work as though, again, we haven't got here yet, and InDesign works with links of images, meaning it doesn't put it within the file, it references another folder on your computer called the images folder, right? If you've created it anyway, right? So right now, this is referencing the folder where it lies. I want to make sure that this image is in my document all the time. Not optimal if you're working with really chunky big images, but in this case, because I'm dealing with a simple logo redraw, check this out as well, all neat. It's telling you at the very top, working with the image, that I'm at 144 DPI. Isn't that neat? So it actually tells you the DPI of the image. It's telling you also that we're in RGB, which is kind of neat, okay? You have all these abilities here, mask, crop, opacity, and so on and so forth, edit original, so on, right? Now, what I would like everyone to do here, in your links panel, go here for me with your hamburger, right? And I want you to go down here to embed image. You'll notice that embed was also right up there for you if you want to click on that. Okay, so you can do it here, embed, or go here to the hamburger, embed. Okay, this is an embedded image all. Okay, and maybe I will actually do this and throw that up on our weekly to just call this out. I typically call this out because it's extremely important and it's helpful, right? That we know if I come back and try to work on this file, maybe I've moved some images around. That's just really, it's bad file management, but it's possible, it happens, right? Sometimes you'll do that and you'll move an image and then what'll happen, I can show it to you. What's gonna happen? Let me just quickly illustrate it. Oh, sorry, I just embedded it though, didn't I? Let me take a step back. So there's my image unembedded. If I had my sad robot logo, here we go. I'm gonna move that out of that folder here for a second. And check it out. Notice what happened here, everyone, is I got a little question mark. It's telling me that that file that was linked, you threw out. It's in the trash. It's trying to find it, okay? So if you go to print right now, you are going to get a piece of shit image like that because it's linked and it's only giving you a preview of that picture. Yes? That being said, it's a piece of shit image anyway because it's awful, okay? But I just wanted to illustrate how pictures are read. And this also, as mentioned, works in InDesign as well, okay? We use an InDesign links, not embedding images, because typically InDesign has a ton of different images, right? It's magazine layout, etc. Now that's interesting. I was hoping it would automatically update for me, but it didn't seem to want to. Oh, there it is. Notice how that went away. And the reason it went away is because I actually moved this logo that I had placed back into the native folder. So check it out. What was happening there is this link was trying to look in this folder, in client supplied folder, to say, uh-oh, why did it go? Where did it go? I moved it. It was lost. I brought it back and now it's found. Hallelujah. Sorry, it's wrong. Anyway, it's now found. So you ready? Go here and click sad robot. And what I'd like you to do is, as mentioned, this is a long way around. I'm showing you just all these little nuances, and hence why these things go long. Center and center. And you're like, yeah, dude, I've been ready for 5 minutes. Let's move on. Okay, we're good. Sorry, but I haven't done what I actually wanted to do, and that was to embed the image. So go here, click on the link, hamburger, embed, or click on the image, embed. Thank you, Ed. That's it all. Beautiful. I would like to see this when we go to take our screenshot, okay? If you could do that. Now, we will just make sure that what do we want to do to make sure we don't? Maybe I'll put that over here. We'll put it back there. Artboards are amazing. We'll get to that next week, but really a matter of creating multiple pages, okay? How we can do that. Let's get back into layers here for a sec. We used our align functionality, so we'll come back maybe to that panel in a second, but let's just move that back and nest it in. Don't need that again for now, okay? I'm gonna go here and double click on layer 1. Now, template. Good. We got a template made, yes? Some of us are gonna go here and click ready. We're good. We haven't remember, in fact, created a template layer. This is really important. So make sure that we click on template, okay? And we're gonna dim this at 50%. Dare I even say that we go to say 20%, and let's try that. Woo, look at how, really light, right? Again, remember, this is just like drawing on a light table, right? And exactly what we want to do for this, because we need to have Sally wants her sad robot. This is Sally's sad robot IT solutions, right? Now, template, dim, good. You'll know it's a template because it's the little square. You'll also notice that it will automatically lock it for us. This is our layers panel. We're gonna work with layers, always important to stay organized in Illustrator, as in any of these programs. The only thing with Illustrator, as mentioned last week, is we need to be very hyper aware of our layers. because unlike Photoshop, when you bring in objects or start drawing in Illustrator, it just doesn't know to start creating new layers. Aside from that, you don't want to have a new layer every time you lay a rectangle down, because you're going to have, right, 1,000 rectangles all in layers and it gets messy. And so we don't need that 1,000 layers. For this little dude, I'm going to say that we're going to need about 4 max. I think I maybe even over layered it in my sample. Typical logo redraws, everyone, just to kind of shout out, 3 to 4 layers, you should be good, okay? 3 or 4, maybe even too many, depending on what you're working on. But please, we're gonna work on this and literally items. The one thing we always wanna do before we draw a sketch of ours or a logo that's given to us, we need to kind of look at it and take it in and assess, how are we gonna tackle this beast? I wanna show you an example, all just quickly. I know I always do this. This was one, did I keep it as? Yes, this was one, I think I showed this to you before. I did this from my sketch, okay? Now, I drew this sketch once, and it was a complete shit show. I tried drawing the original sketch that I had, and I don't have it in here. It was kind of messy. And I honestly, I couldn't figure it out. I literally had to go back to the drawing board, literally went back to the drawing board, and I redrew it with vector in mind. With my original sketch that I did, these tentacles and stuff were doing things that I couldn't do it in Illustrator, and I was getting frustrated. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and try to figure this shit out. I'm gonna draw it to, get it to a point where I know I'm going to be able to vectorize this in a certain way. These are things that are gonna come with time, of course, but what I'm getting at is we need to assess how we wanna tackle the image. General rule of thumb with any logo is we want to start outside in. It's general, right? There are rules and exceptions, of course. You may like to start inside out, but we do outside in because it's a layer, is kind of what I wanted to mention, right? When we're layering and when we're colorizing things of certain colors, etc., there's layer 1, right? And there is layer 2, right? Sorry, let me just that's pretty clear, right? We've got layer 1, we got layer 2. These are both on the same layer though, and this is where we need to be, again, hyper aware of it. Sorry, let's get into this so we get going, so we can get this done. That was our setup. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll stop the video. And you guys are like, oh my goodness, we placed an image so far. Yeah, I know. I'm